Man, it's totally crazy. Wake up this morning and Julian Assange is free. Made a plea deal with the United States. Is flying to the Mariana Islands to plead to one count of the 28 counts that they really originally wanted to charge him with, and gets credit served for the time that he spent in Belmarsh Prison, appealing his extradition. It's really, I never expected it to happen, to be honest. I thought for years that the only place that Julian Assange would go if he ever left the UK would be the USA or Sweden, during the time that he was in the embassy when they were attempting to charge him for rape. It's totally wild. I think most of us are probably I think most of us are sort of stunned by this. I mean, in the last years with his health, really thought that he might even die in prison. So it's wild. And today's the 25th of June. Uh, I'm sitting here in Sweden, where a big part of this story took place, and it's just really wild to look back at all that history that started 15 years ago, man, online. Watching Julian launch Wikileaks at the CCC in Berlin, and watching Jacob Appelbaum join Wikileaks, and having Jacob in Vienna at MetaLab, and Monochrome doing his internship there, having come from Noisebridge in San Francisco. Just so much amazing history to have been involved with, to reflect on. And I guess the biggest part in my life is how that, like, formed, what I did with my life over the last years is when WikiLeaks was blockaded by PayPal, and then started, requesting donations in Bitcoin, this new currency that I hadn't really new digital currency that I hadn't really taken that seriously up until that point, although knowing about it. And so all those years, from that point forward, I guess you could say that I've Julian Assange's political and free speech activities to thank for becoming a Bitcoiner. And it so informed my art in those years. Like all the remixes that I did about WikiLeaks and Anonymous, and man, Occupy Wall Street and the Arab Spring, it was all informed and came together on Twitter, which is now X. This is just a mind-boggling period of history to have lived through, that just totally completely changed my life. Maybe learned so much about economics and finance and computer code and everything, things that were on my radar as a creative, but not really the meat and potatoes of my life, or how I earned my money. So I've been a native Bitcoin, I've been Bitcoin native now since 2011. and it's really wild to look back on. You're in it and you're doing it and being part of this. I guess you could really say it has been a revolution, and now Julian's free. if there's not some sort of shenanigans being pulled on the Mariana Islands, which I can't really say I would expect the Department of Justice to do in an election year, and after they've negotiated this with the Australian government based on their request, once it is that that his right to appeal was the extradition the right to appeal the extradition was turned down. What, 6 weeks ago, 2 months ago? Being a Wikileaker, being a Bitcoiner as an artist, and so many people got behind WikiLeaks and all of these ideas of free speech and how they intersected with this freedom currency. So in the early days, I guess I forget the name of the book that Julian put out together with one of the guys from Google and stuff, talking about how so public-private key pair cryptography could secure data. That was a really, really, really early, promise of Bitcoin, to inscribe data to the blockchain, and now we see ordinals and stamps doing that. But that was one of the original promises. Is the free speech aspect, not the financial aspect, is being able to prove the provenance of data. And Julian was really an oracle at that point for many of us, even if you understood the issues and you understood how it was expressed in code. I mean, so much, you could say, evangelical power that WikiLeaks had, and infected so many of us. And then there was this meme, "Courage is contagious," that came out of Australia from a group of people that were supporting WikiLeaks, and that inspired and encouraged so many people to have courage to stand up against all of this stuff. It's just